Oh, so that new Cheese Puffs video came out.
It came out.
And it was a solid F.
Starring Cole James Anderson.
Well, and starring
Anderson
Jack Unruh.
And Aaron Valise.
And Aaron Valise. And Ed.
Yeah. I guess he's in there too. Yeah.
I guess he just shows up sometimes, and I guess we kind of just let him be and stuff. Today we're gonna be talking about some interesting topics. Please stay tuned.
Stay tuned while we run the intro.
Yes, do.
Warning: the following pre-recorded podcast will blow your mind. Broadcasting to Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Recorded in Cole's parents' basement. This is Small YouTube Channels Talk.
Wow, what a great
intro. Welcome back to Small YouTube Channels Talk.
YouTube Channels Talk.
I am your host, Cole James Anderson, here with my co-host,
Jack Unruh.
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
We've had a pretty wild week. Just yesterday, I finished editing the behind-the-scenes documentary
for Slick Trigger. And it's coming out on Christmas.
Next week, Wednesday.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so fun,
We're
guys.
doing a cast viewing of it on Friday.
Yeah, we're doing a cast viewing of it tomorrow. Which is today when the podcast's coming out, but it's not today for us.
For us, it's Thursday.
It's today for you guys.
Today for us is yesterday.
Right.
Tomorrow is today for you.
That's right. Yeah, that's how it works.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're doing some crazy stuff. I also just wrote a kind of Christmas themed song. It's more Hanukkah themed. That'll be going out on December 22nd because that is the first day of Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah themed.
It's a Hanukkah
but it's a
song.
satirical song, so please don't think that I hate Christmas. I'm a big fan of Christmas. It's just it's gonna put if that's out for more than a week, it's gonna put me in the dirt. People are gonna find out about it, or I'm gonna get famous one day and they're gonna be like, Cole said these things in a song, and now we have to cancel Cole. #cancel Cole James Anderson. Cole James Anderson is over party. But yeah, okay, so we got some crazy stuff going on. We also have a commentary track hopefully coming out on Christmas.
We also have a new video on the Cheese Puffs for Christmas uploaded on Friday.
What is it called?
Santa's Last Gift.
Ooh.
Starring Cole James Anderson, Aaron Valise, Edward Unruh, Jack Unruh.
It's so good, guys.
Check it out.
Well, your mom's in it too.
And Ma's in it too. So, I should have put her name in the credits. All right. Anyways.
But yeah.
Cole James Anderson has some great things for us to talk about today.
Oh, we're gonna be going super hard, so hard. Okay,
so just sit back
and relax. And we
enjoy our
are just
ASMR.
We're not doing it.
Not doing ASMR.
We're gonna kill it. Okay, so today's subject. We are going to talk about burnout. I've talked about this on my channel before. Have you talked about this ever? Have you talked about this period, not even on your channel?
Yes.
Have you experienced burnout?
I have.
It sucks.
It does.
That's it? That's the podcast? All right, everybody.
All right, see you guys.
I deal with podcast.
So let's define what it is for the audience, just so we can be clear on the same page.
It's a feeling, really. Let's say that you've been doing something for a long time and you kind of just get tired of it. And then you just feel like emotionally and physically drained and everything. That's like the simplest way to explain what burnout is. Right. For us, it's more of like a creative burnout. Because I've made projects and stuff, and I've worked myself to the bone. On the documentary specifically, there was like a solid week where I just worked on that thing day in, day out, nonstop, and I got like a solid half of it done. But then I didn't touch it for like 3 months because I was so burnt out after just going so hard.
Right.
There was another time where on Anderson Visuals, or at the time it was Timid Media, I was gonna upload every day, like 5 days a week, every week, and I did it for 1 week, and then it killed me. Yeah. It's hard. Have you ever experienced burnout?
Yeah, like especially with adventure vlogs.
Yeah.
So like we did a vlog a week. We did one vlog a week for 30 weeks straight, and sometimes more than one in a week. And eventually it was just like work, I mean, It was still fun. It was always fun, but it just got to the point where it was like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean,
Because
you once a week you would assume like, oh, well, that's enough time. I'm not gonna get burnt out. But even sometimes you
even
can do
sometimes
something once
then,
a week.
especially
Yeah,
because like this happened, so adventure vlogs had never actually really got burned out, but then when we changed to dorm booming
yeah.
and I went to college,
Holy crap!
yeah, and that was gonna be a weekly thing at college, and that stopped after the first vlog because I realized, I mean, staying up till
High
2.
school and college are two very
Oh,
different
completely different.
experiences.
Well, high school, I was getting to bed at a decent time. College, I'm getting to bed at 2:30, and I have to wake up super early for classes, and then I got all this work to do, and then trying to make vlogs on top of all that. And I wasn't even feeling the vlogs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just, when you're not
Imagine,
feeling it,
imagine if you were trying to make Slick Trigger during the college days. You wouldn't have been able
true.
to.
No, so
College is a lot rougher on you.
it
I've
is.
I've noticed that. Also
is.
burnout. I'd like to attribute it to some of the times where I've quit jobs 3 months in, and I have done that before. If you are hiring, I am a good worker. I promise. But like really like jobs where you're just doing mundane tasks. Like I worked at Walmart and I worked at a gas station. You're just doing the same thing every day, day in day out,
Yep.
and it just gets boring. That's why I would love a job like, shooting commercials or anything else. Like the job that I want to do that I have skill in doing but no experience would be the best because you're not doing the same thing every day. Like you kind of are because you're shooting stuff, but you're always shooting something different,
Exactly. It
And
changes it up every day. You never really know what you're gonna
yeah.
get.
And with burnout, sometimes, well, I guess sometimes even if what you're doing every day is different, because your vlogs were basically every week they were different. It wasn't the same vlog every week,
Right.
but you were still getting super burnt out.
Yeah. And I think sometimes the best thing to do is to step away from your craft when you're feeling that. Like instead of trying to keep doing it, because then it's just not good for anyone. You're not making anything quality. You're not.
Yeah, and when you're not making anything quality, there's no real reason to keep going, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, and when
Unless you're new and you're trying to, learn stuff, then of
Right.
course if you're making non-quality stuff, everyone's going to make non-quality stuff when you're starting out. But in the terms of bless you.
Thank you.
In the terms of like you have the experience and you can make stuff that's quality and you're working yourself so hard to the bone that it just like you just feel numb and like you can't see the story or whatever anymore. Yeah, there's no point.
Right. Like when you have, like, okay, we'll use Slick Trigger as an example. When you have a big project like that, you don't really burn out from it. You just grind to get it done.
Yeah.
We're talking about things where you start like a project, like a vlog or like, something that you just can't, something continuous that you just can't keep up, or you just kind of lost the passion for it, I guess you could say. And sometimes the best thing to do is just there's a time when you just need to quit, step
Did
away
you get
from it,
to a
and come
point
back.
like that? Not including the vlogs, like maybe shooting stuff for Cheese Puffs or the movie.
Honestly, no. I think that one time is the only time I've ever truly gotten
Like
quote
really
unquote
burnt out.
burnt out. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I always want to make stuff and if I don't like something, I'll just quit it and start something new. You know what I mean? And I don't really start a lot of big projects that need maintenance, maintaining or whatever. So I don't know. That was the one time it really got me.
Yeah, I guess I've experienced burnout in like a number of stages where it's like, there's like a bit of a small burnout and then there's like a really big burnout. Earlier this year, I made that like SD cards video and I wanted to start making like more like filmmaking education, teaching how to like make films and stuff for smaller, YouTubers or people that don't have the budget, whatever.
Right.
And then right after that, I hit a dead wall. I was like, well, shoot, I don't, I kind of just, we made a movie and I felt the part of it was like being satisfied and not wanting, like not having the feeling that I didn't have to create anything else. personally because the movie came out. And then, we made Gorilla, which was dope. Thank God we got back into it.
Right.
And for a while there, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't need to post anything, but I probably should have. I lost a lot of subscribers.
Really?
But yeah, it was it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I do think that burnout happens in like micro forms, because me going for a week and then burning myself out, that's kind of like a small burnout. When you did the 30-week challenge and you were going every single week, I can't imagine the freaking the pressure that you felt lifted off your chest when you stopped.
Totally. And that's why, but we went straight from that, and there was even some overlap into Slick Trigger. And I'd say the actual first like video break we got was right after the movie in April. But I mean, then we started Gorilla in May. So there's, I don't know, it's, as filmmakers, we're always looking to make stuff, and so that carries on. Like, you and me have been writing scripts. That's all part of it too. It's not always just making videos. It's the other stuff too, and so we've always got something going on. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And
well, but the thing I feel like is burnout can, like, let's say you're doing the vlogs, and you got burnt out from the vlogs, and then you started a different project. You're burnt out from the vlogs, not everything.
Right, not from your hobby.
Right. Yeah.
You never get burnt out from your hobby itself.
That's right.
But I guess it could be possible that you would. That, like, it could happen.
I've never reached that point, is what I'm saying.
No, we've never reached that point.
We've only ever reached points where it's like, yeah, I can't, like, if I do this one thing that I have been doing, then, like, I feel like crap, but then I jump to a different project that's different. Like you said, when you were doing the vlog and stuff, and then you kind of took a break over the summer, and then that was when we did Gorilla. People would be like, well, that's not like a proper break because, this and that, and you were still working. It's like, well, it was a break from the vlogs.
Right.
Because we got to work on something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because we always need to have the filmmaking, what do you call it? The film.
Always working, I don't know.
Always have to have you got to hit the spot, I guess.
You gotta, yeah.
The filmmaking spot. You gotta have the satisfaction met for filmmaking. So as long as we're producing or creating something, we're fine.
Oh, yeah. Even if it's like, not as often as I'd like it to, it still fulfills, the passion.
Right.
Even if we're working, or we got college and school. And
exactly.
As long as we got some sort of project in the works, even this podcast,
exactly.
Like, I feel like this podcast would get kind of hard to get burnt out on, because basically it's like, do an hour of recording. It takes me a couple hours to edit it, and then I just get it prepared to go up, and then that's all the work that I do.
Exactly. And
but for your vlog, it was like you got to take multiple days.
You
to
have
shoot
to
a vlog,
get people together,
and then you have to
do
edit
stuff.
an entire vlog, and that's a lot different than what I'm doing here.
True.
I just listen to it for an hour, and I just edit where I need to.
But see, here's the thing: is like you, as long as you have, I don't know about you, but like when I feel comfortable taking breaks from stuff, because I always know that we have a project to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm kind of the same way.
You know what I mean?
As long as it's not like a really long break, because I know myself too well. If I take a long enough break from something, I'm not going to finish it.
Right. Yeah.
Take the original Demons. Demons episode 1 came out, and that was going to be like a monthly/weekly thing. I was going to make that, and then 6 months later, I finally made episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh well, this and that, and then I started making episode 2 even 6 months later, and I got the first half of it done, and then I was like, is this story worth it?
Right.
And at that point, it wasn't.
That's why it helps to step back from it, and sometimes you just gotta grind it out, and it'll feel like a burnout, but it's not a burnout. You just gotta do it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like a temporary tired. Almost.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right, let's just finish it. Let's just do it it's gonna suck if like for like physically or whatever. But I think if we finish it, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I was dealing with that editing the documentary yesterday because I was like, oh man, this is like, ugh, like it was basically done, but like I still needed to like perfect it in places.
Right.
And I was like, oh, why am I doing this? I could just be done. And I was like, I've been doing this thing recently. I've been being more self-conscious. I've been catching myself, because I also quit vaping recently. Nicotine cravings are killing me, by the way, but I'm about 2 weeks into it.
That's awesome.
Super proud of myself. But because of quitting vaping, it's also sort of this thing where I'm being more self-conscious when I'm doing things that I don't want to be doing. So when I was editing the documentary, and then I would keep taking breaks, and I'd be like, no, Cole, just sit down. If you want to finish it, just sit down and finish it.
Right.
And it took me like 2 hours.
Exactly.
And before I was sitting for like 4 hours, and then, I'd get up for 30 minutes and I'd do something, and I'd sit back down, and then, I'd edit for like 20 minutes, and then I'd get back up and I'd do something. And it's just like, sometimes you just got to push,
right?
Just like what you were saying. You just got to push through.
No, honestly, like editing, there is in all of filmmaking and everything that goes with it, there is no bigger grind than editing.
Oh, it's rough. And that's why if I could hire my own editor, I would love to. But I also don't have the money to do that.
But here's the thing, though, like we feel so proud of it when we're done editing, because like we know we did that, we created it. Like you when you watch it, you like know the cuts that are coming. You see the art, you see your own art, and like I feel the same way. Having a personal like editor or whatever would be sweet, but
it would take so much of the burden off.
So it would just feel different, though.
I mean, maybe
like if somebody else edited Slick Trigger,
like there's a lot of like really hard stuff to do filmmaking wise, and there might be even stuff that is harder than editing, but stuff that the thing that definitely feels the hardest would be editing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree. When you do it and you make something good, you're so proud of yourself. The doc, freaking fantastic. I worked on that for like a solid like year, just shooting, and then editing it was a whole other process.
Right.
It's yeah. I mean, getting and removing that from our process might happen someday. If we make it, and this might happen for anyone who's listening. Maybe you're a big YouTuber and you just came across this and you're just listening for the hell of it. I don't know what it's like for PewDiePie anymore to make videos and have someone else edit them, because he used to edit them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's something you get used to. Maybe that's a skill that you want to keep building. Because I know me, I love editing. But it can be rough sometimes.
It can get to a grind, like especially like for my job right now. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my job.
In case he's listening.
Yeah, in case my boss is listening, Jarrett, love you. But so what my job is I work for a DJ company and I make their videos for them. Okay, so like I film events, so I do like promo videos for the company for people that want videos done. I've done like little wedding videos and stuff.
Right.
And honestly, the job is a grind.
How so?
I'm just gonna be
specifically like,
honest.
what do you do? Is it like the normal like event videography kind of stuff, basically?
So yeah, so like I'll go in, and it's really not like, it shouldn't be that hard. Like, it is a wonderful job. It's great. But so basically, yeah, I just go into events, I shoot with my camera, take it back to my computer, upload it to my computer, edit it.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. You're doing the same thing over and over and over.
And well, the thing is hard for me is like, I'm not used to filming things like commercials, like actual like real business. Like, okay, we have to be serious now, Yeah. I'm used to filming stuff on the Cheese Puffs where, we wearing wigs and punching each other in the face. That's what I'm used to.
So you're kind of bored by it almost?
Yes.
Because
that's a good
it's
way
like very corporate, it feels like.
Exactly. It feels like stifling, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, because I feel like, because, me and you are working on possibly making a production company, and we have a job possibly lined up to, start doing that. But the thing about that is If we did that, we were shooting weddings, we were shooting, commercials and all this stuff, we would get stifling because that's what we would be doing every single day. And like, I would love it, but that's where we would have to, then we're going to have our personal projects there to break up the monotony. Break
Monopoly.
up break up just like constantly doing that, because otherwise we're going to get bored and then we're not going to want to do it,
Right.
and then we're going to get burnt out.
Exactly.
So
it all comes back to that. So yeah, I don't know, it just, you got to do what you love, and I think that this job has helped me realize that. Honestly, I was thinking about starting like a company like this like 2 years ago. Like, I was like, oh, I'll make commercials for people and stuff. But I'm gonna be honest with you. After this experience, it's like I don't find joy in it.
yeah,
I just don't.
well,
Like,
maybe it's because you're getting managed by someone and you're not able to manage it yourself.
and that, not only that, but it's like this kind of feels like someone else's project too. Like when you're working for, and like say we even did start our own thing, like we'd have to go with the vision of the client,
Well, of course,
And-
yeah, but there's a certain amount of creative, like,
There is.
we could,
It just doesn't
could-
always feel like your own, I guess.
yeah,
You
I suppose you're right, but also you're getting paid to do it.
and
know?
that is the plus side.
That is the best. Yeah, I mean, I could hate doing something for 8 hours, but then $3,000.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, which fuels our hobbies.
Yeah,
You know.
because I mean, if we were just doing it willy nilly, then yeah, we wouldn't do it. But how much videographers charge, how much we'd probably charge, we'd be like, ugh, can't believe we did that today. All right, what's the split? $2,000 each. All right, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I guess it's just rough, and I feel like we're just gonna have to push through and push through. We're just gonna have to just do that if we want the experience,
Right.
we want a decent portfolio, because I've kind of already built that, and I assume you're building one too with your work at your job. You're kind of building like a portfolio, but the thing is, it's not enough experience. So like, we got to keep pushing to get more so that we can land a good job
Exactly.
and or maybe even one day just freaking sell a film.
That'd be sick. And then
That is the goal with one of these films that we make this summer. We're both going to throw them into some film festivals. Hopefully we can get into some high tier ones like South by Southwest, Cannes,
and then win them.
and then win them. And we don't even have to win them, but winning them would be the best option. Winning
Right.
them would be great.
We just want exposure.
But if we get exposure, and then say someone from Universal or Paramount is like, "Hey, let's buy this film. Here's $500,000. We'll distribute it," or they say, "Hey, we want to give you money to reproduce this film, remake it with a better budget."
That'd be so cool.
That'd be crazy.
That's the
and,
idea.
and it is possible,
Has that happened before?
That's
do you think?
happened to plenty of people. Most people, make a film and they throw it into a film festival with the intention of selling it and getting a distribution deal. And if we sold it to freaking A24 is a great production company. One, then our film would be distributed. Two, then we'd have someone to make films with in the future.
Right.
And that's the goal, really,
That's
for this
not.
film.
You're right. That's the goal.
For either of these films.
Right.
Because, yeah.
Because if you guys don't know, if you didn't listen to the last podcast, which you should be doing,
Right.
we have
Come on,
two.
guys.
We have two films coming out. Fall 2020.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We will. We will.
Well, we don't know about coming out. That's when they're going to be running in the film festivals.
Right.
They'll be running in the film festivals. I don't know if we're going to make these public on YouTube. Actually, we probably shouldn't if we want to sell these.
We'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned.
But for you loyal YouTube subscribers, we'll find a way to make it free for you guys.
Yeah, we'll get it to you.
We'll find
Don't
a
worry.
way.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's been wild. Burnout sucks.
We've really gotten far away from the topic.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
So we could sell it to A20.
Yeah,
You know?
A24. Yeah.
A24.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Here's okay. I'll say this. Here's my piece of advice. If you're experiencing burnout, do something that makes your mind totally like dumb, like something that you don't have to think. Like for me, I play Minecraft with Cranky Krampus and Ernie Two Shoes the other day.
Ernie
is what it was.
Shoes.
Yes, and you know,
cross-platform.
Cross-platform now.
That finally happened.
Yep. And so, you know, we were grinding out the craft, and that's a great way to relax and take your mind off other things. Something that does not take a lot of mental effort. You know, obviously I had to put effort into thinking of what my house would be because Ernie moved houses 3 times now, and I don't want to move houses 3. I moved twice already. Cranky Krampus's house is like 8 levels now.
Wow.
Totally off topic. That's it. You know, that's the point, though. You have to do something that takes your mind off.
Yeah, so then you can jump back into it with a fresh mindset.
Exactly.
That's also like an advice even for like short term stuff when you're like writing a script or like you're editing a video. I've taken moments where I'm like, I feel like I'm too close to this. I'm gonna take like 30 minutes and I'm gonna step away so then I can get a fresh mind. I'll go do something. I'll watch TV with someone else, and you know, I'll do something to kind of clear my mind, and then I'll come back to it. Or even watching someone or showing someone like a script or a video that you're editing, it kind of immediately puts the different perspective in your head.
Exactly.
Because like I'm like sitting here and I'm editing like the documentary, and I'm like, oh my god, this is great. This is so good. And then I show it to someone else, and I'm like, oh wait, oh that's oh I need to fix that. Oh that could
because you're thinking of it through their eyes.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure. Yeah, that's a. Like, okay, so my film Shoreline, I'm going to have, and I know you did this for, I think it was Demons.
Okay.
I don't think it was your new project that you did this for, but I want to have you and Ed.
Oh yeah.
And Ron read through the script with me to make sure. So that's, you know, another way of getting another perspective for whatever project you're working on. And that can always help refresh you because that makes you want to make it better, you know, and.
Yeah, I was doing that with Demons. I had a friend looking over it who wasn't really going to be involved in the production. I mean, he might have been, but like really his job at the time was to read, like help me with the script. And he's going to be a guest on one of these future podcasts. Yep. His name is Trevor Cox. Great guy.
Episode 5.
Oh, yeah, episode 5
or 6. Ernie's 5.
Yeah, and then Jess is 4.
Jesse's 4, Ernie's 5, Trevor's 6.
Yeah. Right.
We got a stacked lineup.
Yeah, we got a stacked lineup, guys. Yeah. It's going to be great. Getting back into the subject.
Anyways.
Yeah, so basically while I was writing it, I had him kind of revising it with me. And then when I was done with it, I was going to have my cast and crew read it. But of course, Demons came. The script came to a halt. I am still going to make it someday. It's not going to be called Demons. Talked about this before on the podcast, guys, if you listen.
If you're truly listening to the podcast.
But yeah, so and the current short film that I'm writing, hopefully is good.
Right, yeah.
I am putting a lot of work into it because it's also going to be a feature. But this is basically a concept right now. And then I'm going to write it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to have my actors, I'm going to have my crew look at it.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm going to have people who aren't even going to be in the short film, but are going to be in the feature look at it. Because, you know, there needs to be a perspective. It needs to kind of match, you know?
Of course.
But yeah, it's... man, wow. It's this whole other thing, filmmaking. I love it. It's stressful as balls, but I love it.
Facts.
No
cap. Oh, my mama. For those of you guys that can't see me, I am black.
No, you're not. Don't say that. Jack's lying. He's not
a
black.
lie. I'm sorry.
Okay. Wow, that was a horrible thing for you.
You can cut that out.
I'm leaving it in.
Okay, sweet. It'll look good on my portfolio.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to take a really quick break for an ad. We will be right back on Small YouTube Channels Talk. Hey, Jack.
Yes, Cole James Anderson.
Have you ever wanted to make a podcast?
I've always wanted to make a podcast before.
Wow, that's great. Because if you haven't heard, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast.
Really?
Let me explain.
Tell me more, please.
It's free,
Wow.
the best option. If it's free, it's gonna be lit.
I'm a broke college kid. I don't got money.
There's there's creation tools that allow you to re-record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Sick.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Not to mention, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That means start off 0 listeners, and you can already get ads.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is probably the best news I've heard all day.
Dude, it's everything you need in a podcast to make a podcast, all in one. So, guys, if you want to make a podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.fm to get started.
Wow. I'm going to go make me a podcast right now. Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast.
welcome back to Jack's podcast.
My podcast.
Where I do everything. Wow.
Anchor.com.
Anchor.com, guys, go check out Anchor. We're actually running our podcast through Anchor. And we are distributed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, YouTube, Anchor itself, and some more I can't remember the names of, but we're on like a bunch of podcast sites now. Thanks to
Sweet.
Anchor.
Sweet.
Anchor's lit. Speaking of like quick, tools that kind of just like threw you straight into it, was there ever like a program or a service that kind of threw you straight into something that was like really helpful? Like maybe like when you first started making movies, iMovie was like very accessible.
Okay. So iMovie, I think, is standard on all Apple.
Yeah, it's
computers.
on all Macs, right?
Yeah, I think so. So
Or at least you can add it to any
right.
Mac.
So yeah, since I was young, that's what I edited all my movies on iMovie. Put them all together, and it's super. Like right now, I'm a total master of iMovie. Like I could tell you everything there is to know about iMovie. It's a great program for simple things and just starting out, but when you need to do more, you need to upgrade. But iMovie's one, like
if you're starting out, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was Windows. My iMovie was Windows Movie Maker.
Oh yeah.
That's what I started making like videos on. Granted, none of those videos went on like YouTube because I was like when I was 8, 9. That was
Right.
before YouTube. Well, YouTube was a thing then, but in terms of like, I wasn't posting and stuff. I was just making videos for the heck of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah, for me it was that. And I don't know if like there was anyone else who kind of like got thrown into like, for me, I got thrown into graphic design through this program called paint.net because I was making YouTube videos at the time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make thumbnails, and that was a time when I like only YouTube partners could make thumbnails. And not anyone could just do thumbnails. So I like applied for a partnership, and I was like, holy crap, I'm a YouTube partner, age 12. This is so cool. I'm going to be YouTube famous. Wow. And I was like, okay, oh wow, I can make thumbnails now. This is insane. I need some sort of program that can do that. And normal Microsoft Paint doesn't really work that well. It's kind of trash actually.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna get this program that's free. It's called Paint.net, and it's basically like a super lighter version of Photoshop. And I fell in love with it. I used that thing for years.
Yeah.
And then I finally discovered Photoshop, and that's what I've been using since. But if it weren't for Paint.net, I wouldn't have discovered that I have kind of an eye for graphic design.
That's sweet. And okay, so this leads me to, the whole music making thing. I found like 2-3 months ago, I found a website called Soundtrap.
Oh yeah, dude! Wow. Okay, I'll let you go.
Okay, so like I have always wanted to like make my own beats and make music and stuff like that. Also, and so like I was looking through all sorts of different websites online, and they're either really dumb or really just like not usable at all. And I discovered Soundtrap. I think it's run by Spotify.
None of these are sponsors.
Yeah, so you're
Sorry.
welcome. You're welcome, Soundtrap.
Keep going.
So no, it's like literally the ideal for free music making. It is so cool. Like you just click. It is so simple. Everything that you need is on there. And that really got me hooked. Like I've got enough starts on songs right now for an album.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, and I was honestly thinking about making an album just to do it, because we like to try everything.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know. Soundtrap, I love it. That's great program.
For me, it was GarageBand.
Oh yeah.
Cause and this is rather recent, just like yours. But I discovered GarageBand, and me and Brock have been using it as a tool to make his music. Because really, he's just like popping on an instrumental that's already made and then recording over it. But I've started making beats with the iOS version of GarageBand.
Oh yeah.
And like it's like a much more simplified version of like what you're doing, because it's just like you're like popping loops and stuff, and you're like choosing what to play. But it's super fun. It gets you a taste of that music production.
It does.
And maybe one of these days we can make our own album or something. I was gonna make an album called Clowns or Incel. It was either gonna be called Clowns or Incel. I can't remember. And then I kind of decided that there were other projects that were a little bit more important at the time,
right.
like Late Night Boomin' and this doc.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are big projects right now. Question, randomly,
Sure.
out of the blue, what
Sure.
is this podcast rated?
What do you mean?
Like
rated 5 stars or
like
rated
age
PG-13?
Yeah, like age range. Because I was gonna say a joke, but I didn't know if.
I mean, we're not getting into super explicit topics, but I'm not scared to get into those topics.
Okay.
So I think like it fluctuates between PG-13 and R.
Okay.
Because like most of the time we're not having like really serious, dirty conversations, but we're adults.
Right.
We can have those conversations if we need to. If you're a little child baby and you're listening to this, and something that you don't like pops up, or you're a little bit curious about, Google it.
Yeah.
Urban Dictionary is a great source.
Yep.
No.
Podcast number 4, The Talk.
Yeah. What was your joke? You were gonna say a joke?
It might make me look bad if I say it, but I'll say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. It'll be fine.
Well, now everybody's gonna want to hear it for podcast number 4. People are gonna reach out to me. They're gonna ask what your joke was.
All right. If you get 4 comments across all websites.
Let's make it 10.
10?
4 is easy.
Okay, if you get 10 comments
From
asking
10 different people.
10 different people asking what the joke was
Specifically. Then.
You have to ask what was Jack's joke, and if we get 10, then I'll tell it next episode.
Wow. And then you're going to be canceled.
Then I'm going to get canceled.
Hashtag Jack
cancel Jack. The scandals.
Scandal.
Joke scandal.
Speaking of scandals and stuff like that, have you heard of any drama? It's been kind of a drama-free time lately.
Honestly, yeah.
The only thing that's really going on right now is Trump's getting impeached, but that's gonna like go through that house, and then it's probably gonna die in the Senate.
Yeah, you probably don't want to get me started on Trump getting impeached. I got very strong opinions on that.
Can't believe we're closing out the decade with that kind of big of news, even though I kind of don't feel like anything's gonna come from it.
No,
I really don't expect anything to come
Nothing's
from it.
Gonna come from
I don't feel like anything good could come from that either.
No.
And something that excuse me, something that you guys need to understand about me and Jack, things that work really well is we never talk about politics, and it's probably one of the reasons why we've never had a fight.
Right.
But when we do talk about politics, it's very civil, which is great because
we respect each other's opinion.
Right. There's also politics in filmmaking. There's a lot of politics in filmmaking. For example, we were talking about this last podcast. I want to say Joker had tons of politics when it came out, but nothing came from it.
Right.
It's kind of like this Trump hearing or this Trump impeachment. A lot of people want such and such to happen, but come on.
At the end of the day,
it's going to hurt more people if something does happen,
Exactly. And I mean, are we getting into this?
Are we?
Are we talking about the? You tell me. Do you
Well,
got more things to talk about? Or?
I would, but well, I mean, I don't have that much knowledge about what's going on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't been really looking at the news. News gets me down. A lot of horrible stuff going on in the world, and if I hear about horrible news, it kind of gets my mood down.
Mm-hmm.
So all I really heard is that like yesterday, I want to say, like it started going down or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the knowledge that I have. I don't know how well versed you are.
Well,
if maybe you could explain what's going on.
Okay, well, for those of you that don't know, the House voted, the House, which is majority Democrats.
That's why it went through the House.
Yeah.
And that's why it's going to die in the Senate. But continue.
Exactly. So the House, which is majority Democrats, voted to impeach Trump, and obviously passed. But every single Republican and even one Democrat voted against the impeachment. But obviously, there's majority Democrats. So yeah. Then the impeachment has to go further, and I don't think it's going to get any further than the House.
I don't think so either, honestly. And like, I don't know. I have a iffy opinion on the whole impeachment thing because I used to be for it, but now it's like, well, like there's like a lot of effort put into it, and then sometimes it feels like there wasn't enough effort put into it.
I think that there's a lot of effort put into things where we should be spending our effort in other places. Like, can you name me? Okay, this is a free channel, right? It's a free country. I can state my political opinions, right?
Sure.
Name me one thing that Democrats have done in the past 4 years that has actually moved our country forward.
Well,
that has not been bashing Trump and has not been trying to get him out of office for nothing.
Thing is, you could say the same about the Republicans if you're talking in terms of like the party at DC right now, because everyone up there is just arguing.
I think that
all that they're doing is arguing.
Honestly,
the stuff that's happening, that's actually getting done, is happening down here in these lower levels.
And I think that honestly, Trump is the only one at that trying to get things done. Like honestly, he's done the things that he said in his campaign promise. He has delivered on what he said he's going to do, and he just keeps getting shot down for every little thing, and it's just so much like
I don't
100.
Okay,
for
so
everyone.
He did say during his campaign that he wanted to bring the debt down, and now he's trying to raise the debt ceiling.
Oh. Well,
you're like, oh crap! Like, oh shoot! Well, all right, we finna fight.
No, but like, thing is, like, stocks economy is booming right now.
Well, and it could be argued that that's only because that's like post Obama.
It could be argued that, but at the same time, I heard a stat that Trump did more in his first year than Obama did in his 8 years.
He also went golfing more than Obama did.
He also
now we're just fucking.
We never talk about politics.
This is why we don't talk about politics, guys.
This gives you an idea of where our political views are at, and we do have civil conversations because you cannot have political conversations with people that aren't open to a decent conversation.
Open to a conversation, and that's why me and you work together, because with filmmaking, there's politics in filmmaking, and you know, if either of us were just the kind of people to constantly argue and not find a middle ground or some sort of solution, nothing would ever get done.
There's always a line you got to walk.
Yeah.
There's always, you got to make sacrifices. And
there's a bunch of people on either side of the spectrum, no matter who the hell you are, that just argue for the sake of arguing when we need stuff to get done.
Exactly. Literally last night I was talking to Conrad after playing Old Man Ball. We were at the Tea Steak.
Is he going to listen to this?
With my dad. I highly doubt it, but Conrad, if you're listening, I love you. And he said a great quote. He said, so many politicians, I'm going to side with the Democrats, I'm going to side with the Republicans. And he said, no, you do the right thing at the right time for the right reason.
And it may seem sometimes that I'm like a little bit more like left leaning, but I do find myself a little bit more in the middle because, I go with my moral compass, and my moral compass doesn't put me on either side.
You do, yeah, exactly.
With certain issues, I'll be on this side or I'll be on that side. With gun issues, I'm farther right than I am left.
Exactly. And
maybe that's just because I've shot a gun before. Maybe that's because I know gun safety and like, you know, the stats,
Yeah.
you know, and some people, you know, they think stuff about stuff that they don't know.
Exactly. And the thing is, everybody wants to have an opinion, and the people that know the least have the most opinions, and they're the loudest.
And I know that I'm not right about much of, you know, some of the stuff that I say. We're not, you know, we're not perfect people. We don't know facts, and we know that. But the people that act like they know everything, those are the people that you want to avoid.
Exactly, because you have to be willing to admit, like, when A, you're wrong, and when B, you don't know enough about a topic to truly give an opinion on it. You know, like, I'm not going to give an opinion on a movie I haven't seen.
Exactly, yeah. It's that. Like, this whole Richard Jewell thing that we were talking about last podcast is a great example of that.
Exactly, yes.
Because there are people giving their opinion about something that they haven't even seen.
Exactly.
And it's kind of, you know, there's a certain degree of don't talk about something unless you're like involved in it or such and such, or you know about it or whatever, because you can have an opinion,
you can make insights,
you can have an opinion or have an insight about something, but as long as you're not stating like oh well, I know this specifically, or this should be this, unless you're like an expert, you can think stuff about it, like, you know, all that, like us as guys, and I don't want to get into this conversation. Let's not get into this conversation, but I'm just going to use it as an example.
Okay.
Us as guys, we can have an insight on things like abortion, but we can't have a true solid opinion because, one, we aren't women who could have abortions. You know, we could have a solid, you know, opinion, or even if you're the father of the child, you know, then of course, then, you know, you can have an opinion about it. But, you know, that's a great example of, you are not the party that controls what's going on.
Or even like the topic of race. As a white man, I have no idea what it's like to be a black man. And as a black man, nobody knows what it's like to be a white man. And you respect the fact that is a fact. You know what I mean?
You just gotta. It's
there's a level of respect you have to have for others.
There's a bit of political correctness that kind of has to be there at all times.
Right.
Even if you don't like political correctness, because in that fact, you know, I know for a fact that black men are going to have it harder than I ever could in many, many scenarios, but I don't know how. I just know from, like, you know, what has happened in personal experiences, you know, I probably have it better, but I can't be sure. And that's just a guess,
and
really.
Everything comes down to a balance.
Yeah.
Literally everything cannot be one way or another. I took a class last year in my senior year of high school with the best teacher I ever had, Mr. Clark.
Oh, love him. He's great.
Yeah. So anyways, he's a big liberal, and I am.
I thought, really?
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and she said that he was hard right.
No, he's big liberal. But
see, because I got the liberal thing from him too, but when my friend said that he was like far right, I was like, are you sure?
No. So yeah, so like he's one of the liberals. He's like very, very informed.
Yeah.
So I have all the respect in the world for him, and I'm very far right Republican. So when I entered this class, I was like, oh, you know, I am totally Republican. If we take a test, like he said, we were going to take a test at the end to find out whether you're liberal. I'm like, oh, 100% Republican. And so I take the class and I look at the news, and we have intelligent discussions. Like me and him go back and forth all year long in this class.
Yeah.
And we talk about things. And at the end of the class, I find out that I am more in the middle than I thought, and everyone is. If you claim to be, like you said, you claim to be a liberal, you claim to be a Republican, you're not. You're more in the middle than you think.
Right.
Because if you're educated on all these issues, you find out how much of their balance there actually is. Like there's such, with literally everything in life, there's a line in the middle. It's never all the way one side or the other. There's always two sides.
And I also don't like identifying myself as either such, because, you know, when you walk up to someone and you ask them what political spectrum they sit on, if they say they're a Democrat, you're going to have an instant stereotype in your head of what that person is like.
Exactly.
Or even if they say, you know, Republican to other people, that, again, that's the same thing. And I don't like putting a label on what I vote for, because I don't vote for one side specifically, because I feel like that would be unfair. Because I vote for, you know, towards my moral compass. You know, it's just a rough subject, because is legalizing marijuana a pro-left or a pro-right move?
Honestly, at this point,
It doesn't. You can't tell because there's people on both sides who hate it and love it.
Exactly.
So there's issues like that where it's literally you cannot be on one side, and if you are on one side for everything, you're gonna find problems.
So at the end of the day, it is do the right time, do the right. Cut that part out. At the end of the day,
Do the right time in prison.
So at the end of the day is do the right thing at the right time for the right reason.
Follow your moral compass.
Yes.
You were raised by your parents for a reason.
That's right.
And even though you were raised by your parents, you were also taught to have your own thoughts and opinions.
Yep.
And don't have uninformed opinions, please, guys. Please
take wisdom
yourselves.
from others.
That's right. And
but be cautious.
Yes, and learn when to understand that you might be wrong or you might not know enough about something.
Exactly.
To have a truly full-fledged opinion about something.
Exactly.
This would be a great conversation to have with one of our future guests, Trevor Cox. He is going to be on eventually.
Yeah. We'll get into politics heavy with him.
Oh, he's a great person to talk about it too because he's like us. You can have a civil conversation with him.
Right, exactly. And he's been with us in Filming Adventures, so he can talk about the main topics of this channel too. He'll be a good one to have on.
He's just a great guy.
Exactly.
And I feel like he might even be a recurring guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm super excited for the guests that we're going to have on. We're going to have Ed on next week, and then we're going to have Jess on the week following, and then either Trevor or Ern the following week, and then the following week will be whoever's last.
Yep.
Don't feel bad if you're last, please.
Next week's exciting because the doc will be out. You guys will have seen the doc.
That's right.
By then, and we're going to talk all about it with Ed.
Yep.
And it's going to be
That's why
time.
Ed's going to be on, by the way. That's the only reason why Ed's going to be on.
The only.
Ed isn't good enough to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, kidding. But yeah, it's going to be super, super fun, guys. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's just, politics and stuff. We got, okay, well, I guess we're kind of reaching the end of the podcast. Anything interesting going on? I guess we're kind of reaching the end of the year, and we'll do like an end of the year summary for next podcast.
Yep.
Next podcast. I feel like because next podcast will be the last podcast of the year.
The Christmas one.
The Christmas one will be the last podcast of the year because the New Year's one will come out after the New Year's.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy stuff, guys. We got a lot of stuff happening. This is coming out on Friday, so I hope you have a fantastic weekend. We have the Slick Trigger documentary coming out on Wednesday. That's Christmas. I'm also going to drop the Slick Trigger commentary track on Christmas, as well as the entire interview that I did with Jack Unruh back in April following the Slick Trigger premiere, because I feel like you could get some insight on that. I didn't use the entire interview for the entire doc, and Jack's a very intelligent guy. He has a lot of intelligent stuff to say.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well,
but thank you.
I would disagree. But, yeah, I'm going to drop those 3 things on Christmas. That's going to be 3 hours at least worth of content going down on one day, guys.
Yep.
So, really don't do anything that day. Open up your presents and then jump on Answers and Visuals and have a field day.
There'll
be plenty of content.
That's right. We might even crank out an episode of Gorilla.
Oh, that's right. Man.
We didn't even talk about it, but we might.
We might. Don't get your hopes up.
Don't
but,
get your hopes up. Probably not. But
stuff could happen. Yeah. So Slick Trigger documentary is coming out next week. We will see you next Friday. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll have a good Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And we'll say Merry Christmas next podcast.
Yeah, because it'll officially be right.
Right.
But you have the merriest of Christmases.
Yes. You guys.
I hope Santa brings you everything you ask for.
And
know the reason for the season, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem.
Just gotta really plug that in there.
Yep,
plug for Jesus. Check out Jesus on Instagram. He's also got a Twitter. Listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, YouTube, Anchor. Check out Jack on
The Cheese Puffs, Dorm Boomin', and Late Night Boomin'.
And that's also on Instagram, YouTube. Check me out, Cole James and CJA Visuals, Anderson Visuals on YouTube. Those are on my Twitter and my Instagram and my YouTube.
Links and desk.
Links,
you guys know the
links
drill.
down there. There's also a link down there if you're watching this on YouTube to check it out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or just wherever. Don't forget to support this podcast. Go to
This is a good episode. This was a good episode.
/SSYTCT well, shit, did I? Anchor.fm /SSYTCT /support.
Wow.
To possibly support this
You got
podcast.
that memorized.
I try to possibly
Sweet.
support this podcast for $1 to $10 a month. We would extremely appreciate it, you guys. You guys have been wonderful. We've been getting. I've been hearing from a lot of people who've been listening to the podcast. This is not a project that's going to die quickly.
No,
We're going to keep it going.
that's right.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoyed being here with you
It's always
this week,
fun.
Jack.
It's always fun. We just did a fist bump.
Yes, we did. Everybody fist bump your phone or your screen, whatever
If you're
you're
listening
doing.
to a loved one, fist bump your loved one, but make sure they're paying attention. Don't punch them.
Yeah. All right. We will see you next week. Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for listening to Small YouTube Channels Talk Podcast with Cole James Anderson and Jack Unruh. And don't forget, new episodes every Friday.